Welcome to Soundproof, where your host Shari Pine takes you backstage, down front, and behind the scenes for a look at some of entertainment's hottest musicians, producers, engineers, and other people out there on the scene today. And now, here's your host, that cool chick on a hot mic, Shari Pine.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Soundproof. I am still your host, Shari Pine. And that music that you hear at the beginning of each episode is still my tune. That's enough about me. Actually, it's never really enough about me, but let's just get right into it. I have an amazing, amazing guest. I know I say that all the time, but this person is truly a mystery to me. And I'm so glad that they agreed to come on. So they are a two-time MAC Award nominee. For those of you not very familiar with what MAC is, it is Manhattan Association of Cabaret. So they are a two-time MAC Award nominee. They have a show coming up February 26th at 7 p.m., which is a Saturday night, y'all, right here in Manhattan. We'll talk about that. The title of their show is Music of Manilow. And if you're a fanalow, you're going to love to be at this show. Without further ado, let's get right. Woodruff, please. Are you there, Dorian?
I am here.
Hi. Welcome and thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I would like to ask you many, many questions, and I don't know where to begin because, as I said, you are a mystery to me, and very compelling artist you are. And again, thank you very much for coming on the show. we're going to talk about your show, and this show that you have, like I mentioned, on February 26th at Pangea in Manhattan is a continuation of shows that you did just a few months ago. That would be last year in November and December. Can you speak about that?
Well, people for years had asked me to do a Manilow show. They said the music would be suited to my voice, etc., blah, blah, blah. And I always rejected it because, I'm not really into tribute shows. Because when I go see an artist, I want to see what their personal connection is to everything. Yeah. So I started working with Gregory Teroyan, who is an amazing jazz pianist. Yeah. And he and I kind of can speak the same language because I can say, let's do a tritone subs on this chord here, or let's add a sharp 9 here, or let's do a flat 5/7 here, so we can speak that language. And so then he kept prodding me. It's like, you need to do a Manilow show. And so this show just came about very organically. And so it's just how, I became a fanalow when I was 10 years old. Yeah. And, I was telling the show that, my piano teacher had assigned me Chopin's Prelude in C minor.
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
I argued with her that it was written by Barry and not Chopin because I had heard it as the opening to Could It Be Magic?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. So, that's how it all started. And so this, talks about, my time, as a preteen and as a teenager. And then when I started playing piano bars, Manilow tunes were always in the mix. Yeah. And then it touches briefly on the few times that I subbed in on a few dates on one of his tours back in 1997 as a backing vocal.
Get out of here, for real?
Yeah. So, yeah, I've spoken with the man maybe 4 seconds in all of that. Yeah. But anyway, I touched briefly on that.
Okay, so let's dive in. So let's get to the beginning of Dorian Woodruff. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the very beginning, if you would, because you mentioned you were listening or you were a fanalow since you were 10. what was Dorian doing as far as music, musical theater, music listening, music shopping, music radio listening, anything music? What kind of training or self-teaching, anything from the beginning?
Well, I started taking piano lessons when I was 4.
Oh.
Yeah. My first piano teacher, her name was Gloria Rebeck, and she had the biggest hair of anyone I have ever met in my life.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then, I kind of outgrew her, and then I started taking piano with another woman, Mrs. Eula May Stipe.
Oh, I like that name, Eula May.
Yeah. She was the wife of a Nazarene minister.
The wife of a Nazarene minister. I'm writing this down.
Yeah. And but all she wanted to teach me was hymns. I was like, I don't want to learn hymns. And so I left her, and then I started studying with a woman named Anne Chamley.
How long were you with the wife of Nazarene minister?
Oh, probably 2 years.
Can I write a song called The Wife of the Nazarene Minister?
Sure.
Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So then I started studying with a woman named Anne Chamley, who, at the end of our piano lessons, she would show me jazz voicings. I was like, oh, so I can play this in my left hand and just play this in my right. And it creates this upper structure, and it changes the whole color of everything. I was like, that's what I want. I want to know that.
Oh, how beautiful.
And that's when I discovered the listening rooms at the library, where you could go, and they had stacks and stacks of LPs, and you could take them, and you could go in a listening room, and they were these little rooms. They were like 2 feet by 3 feet, and they had a chair and a turntable in there, and that was it.
Like a little.
And you could put these albums on and just listen. Yeah. So I would spend afternoons after school and Saturdays at the library listening. And so that's when I learned, I was listening to Oscar Peterson and Bill Evans. And I was like, I want to do that, Well, I've always had some kind of little weird nerve thing in my left hand. I think it's from a childhood accident, according to my mother. I don't remember it. So my left hand doesn't move as quickly as I want to. My brain's telling it what to do, but my hand doesn't move quick enough. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I got really good at playing ballads because, we can take a little time there. We can put some space in there.
Okay.
And then I discovered singers. I discovered, Shirley Horn.
Oh.
And I was like, holy moly. And then I discovered Mark Murphy. And he just, I'd listen to these albums and I would think, why is he stopping to sing? Why is he continuing? And then all of a sudden he would come back. I was like, well, what is? And that's when I learned about space.
Oh, space.
And that space can be more important than actually doing something.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Of course, when I got out to Vegas and worked for Liberace, the less is more thing didn't apply.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you listeners are listening, totally got that, but he just said he worked with Liberace. Let's go back. Let's talk about your work with Liberace.
Well, I was just a chorus boy, and sometimes you'd drive a car on, sometimes you'd be in a number, sometimes you'd just sit back and do whatever in the show. And so, yeah.
But you went to Vegas on a whim, or you knew that there was this gig, or I
auditioned for a show blind. I didn't know what it was.
Oh.
And then I got a call and said, can you be in Vegas in 3 days? I was like, sure, why not?
Wow, what a life.
Yeah, I was 18.
I want to be in Vegas. I want to be in Vegas in 3 days, for 3 days, or more.
Yeah, I was 18 years old in Vegas on my own.
Oh. Yeah. can you tell? Okay, so Liberace, the work with Liberace in Vegas is like at the fore. But can I just ask you about being 18 in Vegas? I've never been to Vegas. I've been to Vegas in my mind, but can you tell me about just the landscape? Anything that sticks with you? I know we're going off on a tangent, but anything that sticks with you from the landscape, whether it be strip mall, drive-in, casino, topography?
Well, I never spent a lot of time in the casinos because I mean it's just not my thing. Yeah,
But the outside, I guess I meant the signage.
The sign. Well, see, at that time it was really cool because there was a lot of old-fashioned neon, and a lot of chaser lights and things would, it's just really, really cool.
Vintage.
Vintage, yeah, and it, I don't know, looking back on it, I realize now how amazing it was to see that time. Because when you go out there now, it's just kind of gentrified and for a while it was Disneyfied, because they were trying to get families in and everything. And I was like, that's not the purpose of Vegas. It was just a really, really cool time.
Wow. Wow, it sounds wonderful. So after the discovery of Shirley Horn, and you said Mark Murphy, let's pick it up from there.
Yeah, I was like, that's how I want to sound. That's how I want to sing. Yeah. And then of course, other teachers tried to get involved. You need to do this with your voice. You need to take this lesson. You need to study with this teacher and everything. And I quickly discovered, because it was getting near the end of high school and going into college, that teachers don't really want to nurture your natural sound. They want you to sound, well, you have to sound like this. You have to sound like this. You have to sound like him, and not what I wanted. So I kind of bucked the system and made a lot of voice teachers angry. But then I studied with a lady, her name was Elsa Porter, and she was a student. She learned everything she knew from Dame Eva Turner, who was a Metropolitan Opera soprano, was Tchaikovsky's favorite soprano, so I'm told. And I actually got to meet Dame Eva later in her life when she was in her 90s, which was really, really cool.
What do you think about opera?
I think opera is wonderful. If you have the chops for it, you've got that drive and that passion, go for it. Now I have seen opera singers, and I know a lot of opera singers. One of my dearest friends in the world, Diane Circle, is amazing opera singer. And then also Emily Pulley, who's a Metropolitan Opera soprano, went to college together. Amazing. And I think what sets opera singers apart, the ones that are really, really successful, is, even though the libretto is written for you and that backstory is written for you and everything, I see opera singers that take it a step further and create an additional backstory and make it personal. And that's when you're involved and you really want to see them. Right. I mean, I was classically trained in college. Miss Porter beat it into me, and so yeah.
Wonderful. Could I ask you, first of all, Nick, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, because I just heard a little bumping out. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, you're a native of Tennessee? Where?
No. I lived in Tennessee for 15 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Which, sometimes this Southern accent slips in and out, and, and living there for 15 years, I know some some Southern isms that, good old Southern women taught me, where, you feel like you've been served the most delicious croissant when you've been actually served a crap sandwich. Yeah. So, yeah.
I want to do a little fun thing here, if we can. I call it the soundproof rapid fire round, where I mention a word or two, and you, off the top of your head, mention a word or these things, or whatever, how you would describe it. For example, I would say,
You've frozen.
yeah, it is frozen. Not frozen owl.
No. The screen froze.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't hear what you said.
I'm teasing you. Yes. No. The screen has been freezing. Okay, so we're doing. You heard about the rapid fire? I'd like to do some rapid fire, a rapid fire round. So, like, for example, I'd say Sondheim, and you would say
Being alive.
Oh, you did a Sondheim show, didn't you?
I did not do a Sondheim show. I was a guest on a show, and I did a small Sondheim set.
Ah, okay. Hair the musical.
Dated.
Okay. Doc Martens.
No.
Parakeets.
Owls are better.
Okay, talk to me about owls. I know, ladies and gentlemen, you might not know this, but I think I might know a little bit. I think that Dorian has an affinity for all things owl, or where did that come? Tell us.
My mother says it first started when I was about 2 years old, and we were at the zoo, and I saw an owl, and she said I wouldn't leave, and I wanted to stay there with the owl, and I wanted to take the owl home. Yeah. Of course, 2 years old, I don't remember this, but as far back as I can remember, I have always been fascinated and love owls. I just think they are incredible. And for anyone that knows me, they can tell you I have a very large collection of owls.
Alive?
No, but I have a friend that has 3 owls, and I go visit them up in Goshen, New York.
They are majestic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I have over 400 owl brooches.
You, Nick, is there any, owl brooches, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm having a slight, are you 400 owl brooches? You have 400 owl brooches. Where do you keep them all? I mean, we're not coming over to take them, but
no, I have
an idea.
I have an antique map file. It's like the long, like an architectural file,
like in a museum.
And so I have the drawers are lined with black velvet, and so they're all in sections and everything.
How often do you visit them?
Daily.
Do you ever change their position while you're admiring them, and move this one first and that one is now 7th position? And
yeah,
you do.
Yeah. And then, and I just have this sweater on today because I'm here at home. But if you see me out, I always have a jacket on. And so on the lapel, there's always an owl.
Yes, you're a very well-dressed man.
Thank you. And then I also have a couple hundred of, let me pull one off the wall here. I have a couple hundred of these from the 60s and 70s, these giant owl necklaces.
Oh, let's get closer, people. I want y'all to see.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is just one of many different styles, but I buy them and I never wear them. I just hang them on nails all over the house, or hanging on the corner of a painting, the frame, and
I think I've seen you in real life with a brooch like you were talking about.
Yeah. There's always a brooch.
So then that leads me to, okay, so because you are a collector, you are into antiques and estate pieces. Do you mind talking about that? We're talking about the owls, but what other estate pieces or what got you into collecting, if you are in fact a collector? I'm just assuming.
There's so much. You know, my mother says I border on hoarder.
Oh.
And I say, Mother, no. I'm not a hoarder. I am a collector because I know exactly where everything is, and everything is organized.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can walk through my house.
Oh, right. No goat paths in your house.
No, there's no path. No, it's clear. You know.
Okay.
No, I collect fine art. I collect serigraphs and lithographs, watercolors, which I think it's just amazing for people to do a watercolor because the water can run in a direction you don't want it, but people can control that and come up with beautiful, beautiful things. You know,
well,
one of my favorite watercolorists is who passed away in 1873. Oh. His name was Alex Ballingall. And he did these amazing seascapes with ships and fishermen and stuff, you know. And it's interesting that I like his paintings of ships when I don't like ships. I don't like being on them.
So it's like the ocean. You would never take a cruise, but ships are usually painted.
Yeah, I think ships are beautiful. I think they can be stunning. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. So you've never been on a cruise?
Oh, yes. I was stuck on one for 20 days.
Okay, so maybe that's why you don't like ships anymore. Or tell us about being stuck on a cruise ship or just a regular ship, or you were in the Navy?
No. Yeah, right. No, I went on a cruise to Australia for a friend of mine for his birthday. And, you know, I will say that in Australia, the Sydney Opera House was just incredible. You know, because, you know, when you see photos of major buildings that are landmarks, you know, the postcard or the photo, you know, it's like touched up and the colors are made more vibrant and everything.
Okay.
It's not that way with the Opera House. It's as magnificent in person as it is than you see on postcards or in photos.
Whoa.
Just incredible. And then going inside of it, you see how the sails of the building connect together, and it's just really cool. And then I was fortunate to experience a performance of Turandot.
Turandot.
Yeah, and the tenor for that was from India. Just incredible, absolutely incredible. You know, then afterwards we went to eat where everyone had kangaroo, and I was like, I am not eating kangaroo.
Wait, oh Lord. Okay, yeah. Kangaroo. That's going to be interesting. I don't know if YouTube has enough characters for me to make such a title. We're going from owls to kangaroos to being stuck on a ship. Wait, so you were stuck on the ship, but you had it was a good time in Sydney anyway, but
it was a good time in Sydney. Beautiful time in Hobart, Tasmania. The botanical gardens there was stunning and beautiful, and there are all these birds, just natural birds, just flying around, just doing their thing.
Yes.
That, you know, that was great. And then from Tasmania to New Zealand was 3 full days at sea without seeing land.
Oh, so something about you get your sea legs, or then when you finally get on land, you're wobbly or whatever.
Yeah, you know, and this was in February, so it was supposed to be summer. It didn't get above 45 degrees.
And that coupled with being on the wispy, windy, whipping wind ocean.
No.
So you haven't been on a boat ever since?
No, well, that wasn't too long ago. That was it 2018 or 2019?
Right. Oh.
Yeah, but before that, you know, I worked live entertainment on a boat, and that was back in the 90s. And from the 90s until I can't remember if it was 18 or 19, see, you've lost a whole year and a half with this whole thing. No, but from the 90s to 2018, no boats.
No boats, because it's like basically you're in a constant state of nausea.
Yeah. You know, and it's a confined. And I was like, no, 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 no.
Right. I got you. Okay. So I know we were doing rapid fire, but I just want to ask you, since, you have a lot to say about art and art appreciation, whether it's architecture or antiques, estate jewelry, things like that, which I find very interesting. I took a sneak peek and I just want you to correct me if I'm wrong. Do you needlepoint?
I do.
Wow.
I do.
Tell.
When I was a kid, my grandmother had a little boutique shop, and it was called Pearl's Yarn and Knit Studio. And she had needlepoint canvases also and everything. Well, when she closed it, I think she closed it in, I can't remember how old I was, but everything just went into storage. So, I kept all these canvases and stuff all these years and didn't do anything with them. Well, then the pandemic came around and I thought, oh, well, I'm sitting at home. So I started pulling out canvases, and through the pandemic, I've finished about 30 canvases.
Oh, wow. Do you have any within arm's reach to show our viewers?
I don't know. It's in the next room.
Okay.
No. Yeah, but right now I'm working on this big owl.
Oh.
Imagine an owl. Yeah. I finished a couple other owls. A friend that lives in Connecticut, she was talking, who I also work with, she was saying, oh, I have this canvas that, I started and I've never finished it. I said, just send it to me. I'll finish it. Yeah. Turns out she started this canvas when she was pregnant with her first son, who is now 31 years old. And so she sent it to me, and in like 4 days I had it finished.
What a story.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah. And what she doesn't know is I sent it off to a friend of mine who's making it into a pillow and is just going to ship it directly to her.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it can be like, or at least one, and then picked up like however many years later. It's everybody's, it's a very poetic how different, like a generation, 2 generations or whatever had their hands on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do a little bit of knitting, a little bit of, that kind of yarn, but what exactly, I never even, it was so daunting to me, especially the ring and stretching the canvas and tightening, like, and the neat, like, I don't know. I was intimidated.
Well, that's stretching the canvas and putting it in the ring. That's like cross stitch or crewel work.
So that's not needlepoint?
That's not needlepoint. No.
Oh, see, I have, zero idea. Oh, okay. So maybe we'll talk about that on the next episode. But okay, so then needlepoint, needlepoint, hard canvas that has an imprint or a silk screen of a picture already, and then you through?
You froze again. Sorry.
Yeah. It's been the connection. It's a little bit windy out here.
Anyway,
on the ocean.
hang on. I'm going to grab a canvas.
He's grabbing a canvas, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be fantastic. I think that he's so interesting and less of a mystery now. Oh, here he comes.
Okay. This is what I'm working on at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
What part of it is already the silk screened colors, and what part have you done? You've done the owl?
I've done everything you see here.
Oh my. So what kind of
see,
thread
the
is
owl
this?
Was painted on the canvas, so the colors were there and everything. And this, it comes in a kit. So all of the thread or the wool for the owl was already there.
So wool.
Yeah. And so so I finished the owl, and then for months I looked at this. Where am I? For months I looked at this like, what am I going to do for the background?
Yeah.
Because I just can't fill it in simply. So this has like, I don't know, 8 different stitches on it. And this is 24 by 24. So this will become a giant pillow on my bed.
What do you stuff it with when you're doing pillows?
I use down.
Oh, I don't think that that's very common, is it? To stuff a needlepoint pillow with down? Usually maybe a silk, but a needlepoint? Wow, that is fancy.
Yeah, no, every pillow I have is down.
Okay, but we peasants, we don't stuff our pillows with down unless we go to Bed Bath and Beyond and buy a down pillow. Where do you get, like, do you grow geese? I mean,
oh no. No, I buy them online now. But used to be able to go over to the design building at Lexington, and you could buy them, and you could buy them where they were 95% feathers and 5% down, so that they weren't as expensive,
right.
Because or you could get them where they were 100% eider down, which is really expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, or you can get 90/10s, and 80/20s, so 80% like goose feathers, 20% down feathers.
Yeah, speaking of shopping online, I mean, I won't even buy, like, maybe I'll buy toilet paper online because it's like you can't go wrong. But I'm one of those, I need to smell it, feel it, touch it, wrap it around.
I'm the same way. I am the same way.
Wow.
Now there's some auctions that I go to. My friend Joanna Halev and we go over all of the antique auction websites at Doyle and Stair and Christie's. Yeah, and then she and we drive back and forth to Hudson, to go to the shops up there and then see the auction previews at Stair Gallery. It's like this painting right here, this big one, I bought up at Stair.
Wow. You have a lovely friend to travel with.
Yeah. And then the small florals around this are by a woman named Virginia Alford, who has passed away now. She passed away at like 103. She lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I learned of her when I was in college, and I worked part-time at an art gallery and for Mary Elizabeth Cornett. Isn't that a great name? Mary Elizabeth Cornett.
Mary Elizabeth, right.
And she was friends with Virginia, and she had several of her florals, and I just love them because they're done with a palette knife, and they're, so they're just, really just rough and brutal,
framing needlework is really gorgeous. I wanted to ask you, because we're coming up on time, could you please repeat where you're going to be performing next, the times, the dates, all of the particulars, and leave us off with maybe a dirty joke?
Okay. Well, the show coming up, it's called Studio Musician, The Music of Manilow, February 26th, 7 p.m. at Pangea. You can go on their website. I think it's pangeanyc.com, and click on the date for tickets. Yeah. And Gregory Troyan is on piano, and Lena Koutrakis has directed. And there's just a little twist to every song. I do them my way.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's like Copacabana is not a disco anthem.
Uh-oh. Yeah. But was her name Lola still in your show?
Yeah, it's Lola, and you've got Rico, and you've got Tony, and everything. But I've turned it into a 3-act play with an epilogue. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Well, that sounds fantastic and wonderful, Dorian, for coming on the show, Soundproof. And I want to wish you a very happy new year.
Thank you. And you too.
A successful, healthy new year. Thank you. And I just can't thank you enough.
And then you want a dirty joke.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't mean to throw a wrench in it, but yeah.
No. I mean, I have a plethora of them.
Oh God, I hope the internet doesn't bump out during this. I need a dirty joke. Ready? Here we go.
How do you get a nun pregnant?
Oh, how do
Dress
you
her like an altar boy.
What?
Dress her like an altar boy.
Oh my God. I don't even, why don't I get that? I'm so horrible. When you heard it here, folks. Dorian, thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.